The views expressed are solely those of the speaker and not necessarily those of Paltalk.com, AVM software, or its advertisers.
News Talk is online. News Talk Online of Paltalk.com, the largest multimedia interactive program on the internet, with more than 4 million unique users on demand on iTunes and on YouTube and on my site, www.garybaumgarten.com, which I urge you to click on and enjoy and add your own comments and see the archives of our previous shows. And thanks to our good friends at CRN Digital Talk Radio. We are coast to coast across the United States of America in 12 million households. I'm your host, Gary Baumgarten. You probably got that, didn't you, when I told you that my website was garybaumgarten.com. Boaz Franco, yesterday I got slapped by one of our callers.
I believe that was Basima from Michigan.
Yes, because she was upset that I was complaining about the constant barrage of rocket attacks into the south of Israel, into the little town of
Sderot.
Sderot. I don't know how you get Sderot out of Sderot, but Zerot.
It's how it's pronounced in Hebrew, and that's how you should do it.
I know, but they should write it in English phonetically accurately. But anyways, whatever. I mean, it's all about us, the Americans.
Absolutely.
You know, when we travel, Sylvia told me that when people travel to Argentina from the United States, they greet them in English rather than in Spanish because it's a courteous thing to do. And then when people from Argentina travel to the United States, they speak in English rather than in Spanish because it's all about us. We're so narrowly nationalistic and nationally egocentric. It's unbelievable. But okay, that's another issue. I promised I would look into her issue because I said, they keep attacking. There have been 4,500 rockets and mortars launched into southern Israel since the Israelis pulled out of the Gaza. And I said, yesterday somebody died again. And she came up, she says, well, there were 7 Palestinian kids that died. Why don't you talk about that? And I said, well, I'm opposed to the deaths of any individuals. I don't want to see anybody die. But I'm unaware of it. If I'm not aware of it, I can't talk about it. But I promised her I would research it and report exactly what happened. It wasn't 7 who died, thankfully. According to the Arab press, the Israeli press said 2. The Arab press said 3 kids died. And basically what happened was the Israelis went and took out the rocket launcher that was used in the attack on Israel. And of course the Palestinians shoot the rockets from neighborhoods. And so these kids were walking by the rocket launcher, and sadly 3, according to the Arab press, were killed and 6 others were wounded. But it puts Israel in a bad position because it's either do you sit there and take it, or do you have the right to respond when you come under attack? And if you do, well, are there going to be civilians killed? Yes, because they're shooting from a civilian area. Just want to remind everybody, most everybody believes that World War II was a righteous war. And I just want to remind everybody that population centers on both sides of the conflict were attacked by the other side. I don't know how you do a war without killing people. That's what war is all about. I wish it would stop. I really do wish it would stop. So that's what happened. The Israelis took out, the gun that was being fired at them, and as they took out the gun, unfortunately 3 kids died. So that's the fact of the matter. I don't blame her for misrepresenting how many were killed. It was very early on in the discussion. It apparently had just happened. It was breaking news, and it takes time to sort all this kind of stuff out. But she believes that we're one-sided in this program. There's no question I have a point of view. Her cousin is the mayor of Ramallah. I've been to Ramallah. I've interviewed people in Ramallah. I told her that her cousin is welcome on the show anytime. So she can put up or shut up as far as I'm concerned. I'm more than willing to show all points of view on this issue. God forbid I should come under criticism for being one-sided in my coverage and what I present to you. Okay, this issue that I'm about to bring to you, I got to say I'm a little bit biased on this one as well, because it strikes an emotional chord for me, and more so, obviously, with our guests today. On September 11th, 2001, we all watched in shock and horror as two planes were flown into the Twin Towers here in New York City at the World Trade Center site, now known as Ground Zero. And we know that Al-Qaeda was behind that, Osama bin Laden. We saw the response of not only the city of New York, but the nation as a whole. No, not the nation, the world. Collectively, with a few notable, sad, sick exceptions, put their collective arms around us here in New York City, the people in Washington, D.C., where the Pentagon was attacked, and the people in Shanksville, PA, where the fourth plane was brought down by heroes on that plane who were basically protecting Washington, D.C. by taking over and forcing that plane down in the field. But there are a lot of back stories to this story. And as a guy who started covering this at CNN and knowing one of our two guests today from those days and getting to know him and a lot of the family members, it really, really saddens me that the mainstream media have abandoned this continuing story, because the story did not begin and end on September the 11th, ladies and gentlemen. The story lives on today. They were in such a hurry to clear that site of the debris that they took the debris with, there's no other way to say it, with the remains. No, they weren't large remains, they were not whole bodies, but DNA specimens of human beings who died here in the largest mass murder ever to occur in the United States. Scooped them up, put them on trucks, took the trucks to the Hudson River, offloaded all that stuff onto barges, took the barges around to Staten Island, to the largest landfill in the United States, fresh kills, which, by the way, you can spot, I am told, with the naked eye from the space shuttle, or the space station, or whatever, from outer space. That's how big it is. It's a landmark that they use to spot New York City. They can see it. Now, we know that there are human remains still here on site that they keep finding. At the Deutsche Bank building that sadly caught on